Hello. I am extremely sorry for my PowerPoint presentation due to technical slag. Some problem is there. Please kindly bear me. I would like to thank UNESCO HP for Dr. Saramthia Jandrio and Dr. Ignacio de Bregas. And from the Kyoto University, Professor Yamashaki, Ilanojo, Yaneda, Nakano, and Derochi. And from Lake Biwa International Environmental Research Institute, Professor Kanako Ishikawa. I am a pure economics man. I am not a professional. This is the first international seminar for me provided by the UNESCO HP and the Kyoto University. It's a great pleasure and it's a great importance in our future research in our country. Here, my paper relating to the interface between climate change, water conflicts, and human security, some problems and prospects. Here, climate change is expected to lead to an overall decrease in precipitation and overall increase in mean temperatures, making a water scarcer resource overall. Water is a fragile natural resource, and yet reliable access to water is a key factor for social and economic development in the world, especially in the developing countries. Some of the important are recent changes in agriculture, land use patterns, irrigation, tourism development, demography, and lifestyles, and trade stress water resources with recurrent and increased frequency. The social pressures on water resources highlight the challenges of managing water resources in a sustainable way. Pressures and impacts of water scarcity often results in conflicts with an apparent lack of policy response towards sustainable development due to complex institutional organization measures. The UN defines human security as a situation where the social, political, environmental, and economic conditions conducive to a life in freedom and dignity are present. Human security is multifaceted, including freedom from diseases, hunger, unemployment, crime, social conflict, political repression, and environmental hazards. Climate change is intimately linked to some of them, example, hunger, and less directly related to others, example, crime. A sub-aspect of human security is a water security. As a result of climate change, the frequency and intensity of extreme heat and drought events are also expected to increase. Both trends would negatively affect certain aspects of human security, such as water security or food security. Here, some of the conflicts is not an automatic result of scarcer environmental resources. In fact, there are numerous examples of cooperation within and across borders in cases of scarce natural resources. Whether or not climate change undermines human security and or creates conflict or cooperation over water resources will, however, depend on socio-economic and cultural factors as well as on political factors. Policies adopted on climate change adaptation, water resources management, and human security are among such political factors. Water users association is a very important aspect in every part of our world. There are some important farmers, a group of farmers jointly perform activities that are more difficult or impossible to implement individually. Water Users Association are empowered to act on behalf of their members in their relations with water authorities, to solve problems of water supply as well as to conclude contracts for the construction and maintenance of the irrigation infrastructure. This is the best example for in some parts of Rajasthan in India. The Water Users Association, especially the Sandeep Pandey, one of the important IITN, he elaborates important the use of Water Users Association in our country. Water saving effects are thus likely to be due to in part of technical improvements, not only to changes in the socio-political structure, that also the system in place which fairly reburst in terms of avoiding conflicts and thus like to prevent future conflicts which may result from reduced water availability and altered climate conditions. Pressures and impacts of water scarcity often result in conflicts with an apparent lack of policy responses towards sustainable development. The United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, UNCCD 2000, provides the global framework for implementing drought mitigation strategies. The United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Reduction, UNISDR 2002, establishes a protocol for drought risk analysis. A common characteristic of the countries in the region is the weak cooperation among the different institutions related to water management and fragmented roles of the state, the administrative regions and the river basin authorities that result in administrative conflicts that are an impediment for the problem related. Groundwater is already an important insurance available to communities, agriculture and industry against drought. And the conjunctive use of surface and groundwater makes societies more drought resistant. However, groundwater is not fully integrated into the general water management plans due to limitations in monitoring systems, understanding of the process, and uncertainties about the future. Emerging technologies such as artificial recharge, aquifer storage and recovery, recharge of reclaimed wastewater and desalination are crucial for using groundwater as a mechanism to mitigate water scarcity and drought. Groundwater can only serve this purpose effectively. It is integrated in a flexible way with other options such as recharge and permit of use. Achieving this integrated role for groundwater requires institutional management to go along with engineering. Another important factor is that the dissemination of science and technologies, the increasing regional cooperation, the awareness of the risks involved and the opening of markets and economic opportunities to all rural population may help reduce the pressure. It is difficult to say which factors will prevail and there will signs of more positive trends. In our academic system of Andhra University, we are teaching for MA economics students, pure economics. In the energy and environmental economics, and another important paper recently introduced, economics of water monitoring. From this semester, we are introducing this paper. The UNESCO Symposium is highly useful and resourceful for further research, especially in our country, in our university, developing countries throughout the world. We are in the process of some important the water monitoring projects in our local municipalities in and around our place. I am very thankful to the organizers and my co-presenters and professors, scientists, delegates. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Varma. So we have some time for discussion. Who would like to ask a question or make a comment?
When you were talking about the groundwater,
yes,
can you enlighten us slightly on the overall sort of magnitude of the problem you're facing in India?
Yes, sir. Sir, especially in some parts of our state also in Andhra Pradesh, groundwater, 70% of the groundwater is not, they are usable for the purpose of drinking or irrigation facilities. Especially some parts of our state, the system of irrigation, that is paddy converted into paddy fields, they are converted into prawn and fishy culture, fertile lands. It leads to some important salinity or groundwater damage to many places of our district. Now we are in the process of our University Grants Commission established some important monitoring project to study how to remove those problems relating to the groundwater problems in our area. We are applying for a research project. Shortly we are receiving the orders from the University Grants Commission. We are in the process of this type of how to solve the problems.
Are they also related to you have a large number of tanks?
Yes,
These
sir.
are tanks?
Fish and prawn tanks.
Are they also sort of related to the tanks, the management of the tanks?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are they related? Can you enlighten us a little bit on that issue?
The fertile lands, they converted into fishy and prawn culture. That is a major problem. In and around the habitats, the surrounding areas. In the olden days, very fertile, very drinking water is very, there was no problem in 15 years back. Nowadays, there is a problem. Majority of the area, they are converted into the fertile lands into prawn field or fishy culture. It leads to the water, some important structure of the water changes. It damages to the fertility of the water. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir.